realize that light wasn't on. Duh. A little too toasty down here. I'm not trying to sweat while I open these. Scott, you may have noticed the scarlet and gray card stands. Get used to it this week, because that's all we're going to use is scarlet and gray. It's officially rivalry week for college football. You're now on my list. You're now on my list. I don't know what list or what that means, but you're on it now, sir. The game is in southern Canada, Scott. Southern Canada is where it will be played. We don't even acknowledge that as a state up there. They're a whole nother country. No, not in Columbus. Not in Columbus. Technically, if they were to beat us this year, they could find their way into the Big Ten championship. It's not going to happen. But I-O, Mike. I-O. It's so miserable. Oh, yeah. Well, trust me, I've lived the majority of my life. We have pretty much owned the team up north. We went on a run at one point where we were like 18-2. And of course, Urban was 7-0 against them. Coach Tressel pretty much owned them as well. And Ryan would have a couple more if they hadn't backed out of COVID year. That was a whole... They knew they were going to get trounced that year. So... yeah, exciting week around here. You guys know the drill. When you see posts this week, there will likely not be any M's because we don't even acknowledge the letter this week. So, lost to your in-state rival for 17 straight years. That's painful. Yeah, that's painful. All right, let's get this show on the road. I know I posted this earlier this afternoon, and it's been filled for a couple hours, but like I told you guys, it's today's my daughter's birthday. It's Reese's birthday, and she was gone. She spent the night at Grandma's house last night, and then she had some things at church she wanted to go do, and so we didn't see her until after dinner. We had planned to hold dinner with everybody, and our son MJ's sick. He's got a little fever and some pukey stuff going, and so kind of last second we had to cancel dinner plans altogether. And so, Grandma to the rescue, takes Reese out to dinner. And so we didn't even see her today until after dinner. So I wanted to at least be around her for a little bit. So that's the reason why I kind of waited tonight to do the break. So I appreciate everybody kind of being flexible with me on that. So here's our list. Nothing crazy there. Jake's the only one we're waiting on as far as payments, and he'll take care of that, I'm sure. So we are good to go. Missouri is our real rival left. Yeah, so exactly. All right, so this is break 2545, I believe, is the number. It's the 6-box mixer, 2 megas of Donruss, 2 hobby select, 2 turn 4. I had somebody message me before I posted the break and asked if select was hobby or mega. And so I wanted to kind of take a second and mention, when I post a break, if it doesn't specify that it's a blaster or a mega box, then it's always going to be hobby. The only time it'll specifically say is if it's not hobby. And I hope that makes sense the way I explained that. But always in our breaks or my breaks, always assume that it's hobby unless otherwise stated, because that's how I do it. So maybe that made more sense. War is too graphic, yeah. Oh, I know all about that growing up with the Cleveland Indians, who are now the Cleveland Guardians. And we know several Native American folks who have said it's not offensive at all, but yet somebody decided it was offensive. So somebody somewhere along the lines decided that you can't do that. All right, good luck to everybody. We'll do the megas first, and then select, and then finish with turn 4 today. We got Shane Van Gisbergen, Carolina Blue, 141 out of 249. SVG goes to Nick Marquette. Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing that way, yeah. Blue Velocity Optic Brennan Poole. Again, those are not numbered. Blaney Optic and souvenir swatches. Eric Almirola. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that suit is kind of dirty. It's got a little bit of dirt or grease or something to it. Almirola going to Will Black. With the fire suit. Coming attractions. William Sawalich. Haley. Blue Velocity Denny Hamlin. And you got Spellbound Dale Jr. BK. Joey Logano, Blue Optic. Unleashed Richard Petty. That's the Silver Explosion, Lane Riggs. Zilich. Let's go from the back. Spellbound Richard Petty. And Todd Gilliland, Blue Velocity Optic. For that first half of Mega 1. Some wild football games today, guys. The Cleveland Browns pulled out a win. Can you believe that? The Cowboys pulled off a huge comeback win against the Eagles. I think I think the Steelers lost to the Bears. I remember getting a message, I think it was from Will Heron earlier at the beginning of the week, with like 6 or 8 games that he was like, man, these are just locks. You know, like these are done deals. And then I think half of those probably didn't happen. Zane Smith with the Blue Explosion, 39 and 99. Those are good looking cards when you get the color with the explosion like that. That's sharp. Zane's going to go to Chris Bonnet. D. And then we're going to go pedal to the metal, sheet metal, Eric Jones with the cracked ice. That belongs to Jake. Yeah, the Chiefs and Colts. I had the Colts coach, and I was hoping they were going to pull it out. Blue Optic AJ Allmendinger. It's crazy to think that the Patriots... Can you imagine Scott being the person that decided to let... oh, shoot. His name's escaping me now. The coach for the Patriots. Buckeye. Could you imagine... being the one that decided, hey, we're going to let him go in Tennessee. And then 2 years later, now he's in New England, and boom, turned it around for them already. Optic Hollow, Tyler Ankrum. Unleashed, Denny Hamlin. I don't know why I can't think of his name. I have Fickle from Wisconsin stuck in my head. Ty Gibbs, Optic. Yeah, because he was in New England with Belichick. Spellbound, letter L, Chase Elliott. Explosion Silver, Austin Hill. Vrabel, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Vrabel was just I mean, he looks, if you look at Vrabel, he looks like he could play today. He's like, he reminds you of Dan up in Detroit. You know, he looks like a dude that could still play if he wanted to. Like, yeah, Vrabel's a Buckeye. Yeah. Yes, sir. Empty box. You are correct. Oh, it doesn't. If he lines up with the lineman, it wouldn't surprise me one bit because he's nuts. But I mean, such a good dude. Like, he's just. I can guarantee you, he cares about his football team and his family, and those are the things that's where his world revolves, is his family and his football team. That's it. There's nothing else. That's the kind of dude he is. I will give major credit to Dan Lanning in Oregon. I heard an interview that he gave where people were saying, oh, yeah, your name gets thrown around for this job and this job and this and that. And Dan spoke up in the interview, and he goes, you know, the grass is really, really green here. He goes, and I'm not going anywhere. He goes, they're stuck with me here until it's over. He goes, I'm not going anywhere. And I thought, man, good for you to know that you've got it great and the grass isn't greener anywhere else. Like, Oregon's one of the top 3 to 5 coaching jobs in the country for college football. It's just like people saying Ryan Day would leave Ohio State to go to somewhere else. That doesn't make any sense. 145 of 249, Carolina Blue, Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty's going to go to Will Blackman. Yeah, Cignetti's a good coach too. Yeah. I don't know that Indiana's one of those programs, but he's making it one of those. Suited up, cracked ice, fire suit for Sam I Am. Going to James. Ross Chastain, Blue Velocity. Yeah, he'll do well down there, I think. I think he's excited about being there. I think they're excited to have him. He's a good coach. I think Penn State might have messed up. We'll see. We'll see who they end up getting. Coming attractions, Christian Eckes. If Wisconsin didn't have the plague as far as injuries, I could have seen Luke Fickell being considered for that job, because I would consider Penn State a step up from Wisconsin. Optic Blue, Jimmy Johnson. Tyler Reddick. Ooh, okay. 135 of 149 on the cracked ice Race Kings, Chase Elliott. Going to Paul. They played their hearts out last night. Wisconsin did. I don't know if anybody caught that game. But they did a heck of a job. You know, Wisconsin only had 3 wins, so they're not playing for anything. They're just playing for themselves and, and each other. And so that was cool to see them, not quit. They just kept playing. Even when there's nothing left to play for, they kept playing, And they know they've got one more, and then their season's done, basically. Because they're not going to get in a bowl game with 4 or 5 wins. But I really think Fickell's done a pretty good job considering they're, on their 5th string quarterback, and I don't know, they're deep into the running back room, and so. This college football playoff this year will be pretty interesting, I think. I'll be curious to see who gets in and what positions. I still think if you get to be the number 1 ranked team, you should get to pick where you want to go on the board. You should get to pick the teams you're going to play against and choose your spot. And then let 2nd pick and 3rd and then 4th gets whatever's left over. That would be an entertaining piece to it. Blue Velocity Optic, Austin Dillon. Season highlights, Hocevar. Silver Explosion, Daniel Dye. Comments about RCR. Yeah, that's NASCAR's, man, they got some things going on. Yeah, a lot of the Ohio State players have never won a Big Ten championship, so that's important to them. Yeah. Blue Velocity Optic, BK, Unleashed Bubba. I think in general, people knee-jerk react to coaches too fast. They forget that the coaches can't play the game for them. You can put the best plan together. If your players can't execute it, what difference does it make, And then, then you get the comment, well, then they need to get better players. Well, that's true, but sometimes players just make mistakes. Sometimes somebody has a bad day. Sometimes things just don't jive. Sometimes you get a bunch of superstars and they don't know how to play together as a team. Jeff Gordon's souvenir swatches. So there's a lot of elements to it. Team sports are not as easy as it seems, Jeff Gordon goes to Robert Rich. Let's put Jeff up there for the time being. Jeffrey. Just watch the movie Moneyball. It'll show. It's, it's a perfect science until it just doesn't work. Oh, I thought we were going to have a non-numbered. So 28 out of 35. Nice short print, Cracked Ice, Unleashed. Denny Hamlin. That goes to Robert Rich as well. Again, shipping included for all the autos and relics. And after Thanksgiving, I will get a shipping post for anybody that's got stuff sitting around from breaks. Probably after, next weekend, for the end of the month, basically. I will get a post together for shipping. So, right? Oh, yeah, great movie. Great movie. You know, look at Colorado. I truly do think Dion's a good coach. And obviously he's got all the support in the world from, you know, the people at Colorado and everything else. But they're not exactly setting the world on fire. Nor did they win anything the last couple years with Travis and Shador. So, you know. But I don't think they're going to fire Dion anytime soon because he's really turned that around in a positive way. All right. Number 1 for select. We're going to go tricolor Chris Buescher. Colorado does. Red Sensations, C. Bell. That'll go to Nate Gogol. 26 out of 99 for C. Bell. And then we got a Corey Day trackside. Frankie, Josh. We got a purple Brandon Jones going to Scott Dixon. $68 out of 85. Numbers Buescher and McDowell. Yeah, so somebody mentioned it a little bit ago. What do you guys think of the whole text message back and forth stuff that's been coming out with NASCAR and O'Donnell and all that? There's a lot that's come out actually in the last week. It's not a good look. Silver Kevin Harvick and Fuego Sawalich, DW. Clements, Jesse Love. We're on purple Jake Garcia. It's going to go to Danny. 33 out of 199. And legendary signatures, Carl Edwards belongs to James Ward. Nice one, James. Yeah, I agree. You'd have to know the context, but it's definitely not a in or out of context. Some of what was said is not things you really want to say where any kind of record is available. You know, if you're just talking between two guys behind closed doors, maybe say what you feel, but electronic footprint, 103 of 125, Ross Chastain goes to Melvin. Riley and Kyle Busch. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Tricolor, Sam Mayer. Terry Labonte, trackside. If anybody's working on those trackside sets, let me know. I've got a few. I don't have I probably have 10 or 12 of them that I've just been kind of hanging on to, waiting to see if anybody needed them. Tie-dye, Cole Custer. That's going to go to Bill Tabor. 1 of 25. Got the first one made. Very nice. Nice indeed. Kyle Busch and Daniel Hemrick. Austin Beers. Blue, Andres Perez. $132 or $175. I believe that's going to go to Sea Salt. Yeah, Sea Salt. And then we got 1 of 25 with the tie-dye signatures, Jade Buford. I'm going to have to do some hunting for him because I don't remember if I think he's listed. We have to do a little searching on my list, though, real quick. He might not be. Jaded. I don't think he is. He might be an unlisted driver going to Chris Barlow, I believe. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I did not show the Secret Santa stuff at the beginning of the break. I'll probably show it at the end. Probably from now until Secret Santa is finished, I'll probably show it at the end of each break to make sure I'm catching everybody. So I'm sorry that it'll be redundant, but again, I just don't want people to miss out. Every year I have a couple people that are like, I didn't know, I missed out. And then I feel terrible. 121 or 175 blue, Connor Zilich going to Storm Ghost with the rookie. So Secret Santa is posted. If you can't find the post, let me know. I'll direct you to it. I tagged as many people as I could who participated in the last 3 years. There are some folks that have turned off the ability to mention them in comments or tag them. So if you didn't get tagged but you participated, that's probably the reason why. Silver, Jeff Gordon. Because there is, there's quite a few folks that have that mentioning disabled. And so then I can't tag you. Which is fine. Your prerogative. It's your prerogative. Silver, Kyle Busch. And Fuego, Noah, Christian Eckes. Last pack for box 3 of the break. It's number 2 of select, though. Got Jeffrey, Anthony Alfredo. That's what my daughter had for dinner, Alfredo. White, select, Eric Almirola. Going to go to Will. 90 out of 99. And then 25 of 25. Oh, that's sharp. Tie-dye Clint Boyer. Selective Swatches Fire Suit. Boyer is going to go to Bill. Nice looking card. I'm going to move these base cards and the parallels just because the stack's a little bit tall and I don't want them going sliding around. So we'll do that. All right. Next. Box. Empty, empty. tomorrow night for Monday Night Football, the break will be 2 boxes of 2025 certified. So we should have some decent hits out of those. There should be a total of 4 autos and 4 relics. 2 and 2 in each box. So that should be a pretty decent break tomorrow night, I think. Tricolor Ty Gibbs. And it'll be a little bit pricey, but it still, I don't think, is going to be outrageous. So I still don't think it's crazy. So, and then if you guys have any requests for football breaks, let me know. I may try to get maybe another Gold Rush jersey or 2, or maybe a couple more of those signed and slabbed, like single packs to add with something to kind of supplement, do a little mixer. But if you have requests of products that you want to see, just let me know. 63/85, purple Sammy Smith. Then we got 12/25, Joey Gaze with the tie-dye material signature. That's sharp looking. Joey Gaze is going to go to James Holland. Nice hit, James. I'm going to move Jade for that one. And give me just a second. I might as well go ahead and open some more top loads because I know we're going to need them. There's got to be at least one more relic in this box, so no reason not to. All right. Yeah, there's been a couple things go to unlisted, Chris. Yeah. Jake Garcia. Jesse Love, purple. Going to Will Blackman. 172/199. And we got McDowell with the Selective Swatches sheet metal. That's going to go to Will Black. Chandler Smith. Kyle Busch, red. Going to Thomas Jones Jr. 88/125. Tyler Ankrum, Ryan Blaney. Ooh, this is nice. Chase Briscoe with the tie-dye trackside. That's sharp looking. Briscoe goes to Nate. $12/25. Cindric and Christian Rose. Tricolor, Justin Bonsignor. We got the red Sensation C. Bell. I think that's a daily double on that one. We've pulled 2 of those now, I believe. Going to Nate. 6/99. And Connor Daly, the trackside. Riley Herbst. Purple Bill Elliott. 121 of 199. Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez. For the people that participate in fantasy racing, I've been toying around with the idea of changing things up for fantasy racing next year and doing it on our own, not through an app. And my idea is, I'm kind of copying this off of somebody else that I know that did this, but maybe modifying it slightly. But Silver, Todd Gillen, but the idea would be that you would, the way it would work under the idea format or my proposed format would be that you would pick like 4 drivers or 5 probably, and those would be your drivers from the start of the season until the playoffs start. You'd have the same, you don't have to worry about picking new drivers each week. You would just pick your guys and let the chips fall where they fall. And then we would take maybe the top, if you're in the top 75% of point getters, then you get to move on to the playoffs. And then you would re-select your drivers going into the playoffs and kind of start over a little bit. And then you wouldn't have to pick every week again. You'd just make that one new selection, and that would be it. So you'd only have to pick your drivers twice in the season. So you don't have to remember to log in, sign up, change your lineup, all that stuff. It's a little bit more hands-off. And it would almost make you think of more of, kind of a long-run playoff or a long-run points system in a way. So if you are somebody that participated in fantasy racing, I'd like to hear your opinion as to whether you'd like to do that or not. 1 of 125, red, Ken Schrader. Because I don't want to move away from it if people really like the format that we have. It's just not my favorite, but it doesn't really matter if it's, I've said it many times, it doesn't really matter what I like. So if everybody else is happy with it, then we keep it, Or we could do both. There's no reason we couldn't do both either. That would be the other option. There's really no reason we couldn't do both too. So Silver, Daniel Hemrick, McDowell, and Ty Gibbs. And our last pack for Select. I do think for fantasy racing this year, I'm going to do some kind of different trope, like for fantasy football, we do a ring. I think we're going to do something along those lines for the winner for fantasy racing next year, however we do it. There'll be some kind of like cool award that you'll actually be able to keep, put on a shelf. Jake Garcia, blue, going to Danny, 104 or 175. And then we're going to go 26 out of 99, Rudy Fugel with the material autograph. Rudy Fugel goes to Steve Teskey. Let's swap him out for Carl. You like that idea, Chris? It would definitely be a little bit more, like I said, it would be a little more hands-off, where you don't have to babysit it every week so much. So I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about. All right. Let's get into our first box at turn 4. I want to get rid of this thing under here. It Doesn't let the box sit flat. Makes it all wonky and all that stuff, so. All right, here we go. Card number 1. Christian Rose, 45/75. That'll go to David Brinkman. Number 2. Brendan Butterbean Queen, 16/25. That is some used, and I mean used, sheet metal. That's going to go to Paul. Paul and Will have been splitting that spot. And there's somebody else that's been splitting spots too. I forget. I think it was Jerry and somebody. But good way to work together. So that's going to go to Paul. You definitely, I think, have some concrete in that sheet metal maybe. So, all right. Center stage signatures. Noah Gragson, 8/10. Gold. That's nice. Noah's going to go to Billy Joe. Very nice hit. And the last one for this box of turn 4, Ryan Preece, 11/99, patch auto. Going to go to Chris Bonnet. Not bad at all. That's a pretty solid box, honestly. All right. Final box of the break. Again, appreciate everybody that participated. Tomorrow night is certified football for Monday Night Football. And then you guys know Tuesday night is 2018 certified for us. So that's what's coming up in the next 2 days. Ooh, Corey Day, 45. I thought it was a 1. 45/75 on the rookie. Corey Day will go to Dale. Sounds like he's locked in for 2026. Oh, we got the Jumbo Pit Wall, William Byron, 17/99. Jumbo Pit Wall going to Steve. That's cool. Nice hit, Steve. Then our first auto, Hat Dance, 1/25, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That belongs to Michael Clay. Nice hit, Mike. Nice, Ricky. And last, but certainly not least, we got the Amigo patch auto, 11/99, Daniel Suarez. And this one will belong to Jerry. All right. That's how that goes. So, not bad overall. I mean, can always be better to a degree, but not bad. I'm not going to complain about that kind of break for sure. So, let me hit you guys with a recap, and then I'll show you the Secret Santa thing again. So, to quickly recap the hits, we had tie-dye Chase Briscoe to 25, tie-dye Cole Custer. From turn 4, the base was Corey Day out of 75, and Christian Rose out of 75. Relics went like this. Michael McDowell, Clint Boyer, tie-dye. Jeff Gordon. Eric Jones. Eric Almirola. Sam Mayer. William Byron with the jumbo pit wall. And Butterbean Queen on the short print. And then autographs. Joey Gaze, tie-dye. Rudy Fugel. Carl Edwards. Jade Buford, tie-dye. Daniel Suarez to 99. Ricky Stenhouse to 25. We had Ryan Preece out of 99. And last but not least, we had the gold Noah Gragson out of 10 to finish things off. So that is all she wrote. I appreciate everybody's support, everybody participating. And here is the Secret Santa graphic one more time. Like I said, probably show this at the end of every break. But instead of showing it twice, I'll show it once. So this is posted in the group. If you can't find it or have trouble finding it, let me know. I'll be glad to send it to you with all the details. But basically, everything you need to know is there. So I just don't want anybody to miss out on it. It's not something it's not like a moneymaker or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just something that everybody seems to really enjoy doing. And, and it's kind of nice as adults. Some adults don't get anything at Christmas time, or maybe you only get something little from, somebody. So it's kind of nice to have something to open and get excited about at Christmas. I know I get excited when if I receive a package that's for me, and it's card related, I get pretty excited. So that's, kind of the main idea of it, is to just give folks something to open and not know what's coming. So that's that. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday night. I think probably starting at the beginning of December, I have a couple other things that we'll start rolling out. We'll start rolling out a countdown to Daytona. And then I've also got, instead of Bad Monkey Box for the month of December, we're going to do some Bad Santa or Naughty Santa packs, or something like that. I got some leftover Santa bags from last year, and I'm going to make some repacks out of those and incorporate those in the breaks for the month of December. So probably see those pop up quite a bit in December, actually. So just a good way to kind of supplement the breaks a little bit and add some hits and things to it. So that's all I got for tonight. Hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. Again, if you got a autograph or a relic, I will get those shipped out tomorrow. Shouldn't see any reason why these won't be able to be out tomorrow. So have a great night, and we will see you guys next time.